More breaking news now. More than a dozen people are out of their homes in Humboldt tonight after a fire swept through their apartment building. And even though everyone got out, there is concern about what's left in the rubble. Larry Seward is live at the Timber of Deerbrook apartment complex. Larry, what is the fire marshal saying?
Mia, there is still smoke, still plenty of fuel left for anything simmering, he says. And behind me, behind those fire trucks, the damage is so bad, all 16 apartments in Building 17 here need to be torn down. This fire, as you can see from cell phone video recorded by a witness who gave it to us, spread fast from one end of the second floor roof to the other. Investigators think empty space in the attic and old framework fed those flames. This thing erupted with some renters still at work. Others inside smelled smoke and got out quickly. Others ran from the pool and out the office. 3 people in the building burning needed help to escape.
Firefighters got there, fire department officers got there, started knocking, ensuring that nobody was in there. They didn't find anybody in any of the buildings, so hopefully nobody was in there.
Everybody is okay physically, but 16 families lost homes this evening. This was a 5-alarm fire, mainly because of the heat index, triple digits at times. So authorities wanted as many firefighters involved as possible to keep all of the firefighters safe, and none of them were hurt. What caused the fire here is not yet known, but Mia, the fire marshal, tells me that they are looking into the possibility of electricity being involved, but nothing suspicious found.
All right, we'll have to wait and see. Larry Seward reporting. Thank you.